Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty to work on. Today, I'm working on two very difficult limb independence patterns that are 3/4. You'll see here in a minute. They're difficult. Now, in all these practice streams, I like to share what I'm practicing, how I'm practicing, all the raw, unfiltered. This is what I'm doing to try and get better. Good morning, Ashley. Now, there are over 450 of these, and timestamps in the description to show what I was practicing or what I was talking about, if you're interested in that. Now, I will often get people who ask me questions about how to get better as a drummer, or how to get better as an educator. Because I've been drumming for almost 30 years, and because I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education, I have a range of experiences that people will ask about. And I will often edit those answers that I give to those questions and put them inside of this drumming tips playlist. There's over 100 videos, over 15 hours of tips in here. The first thing that I talk about is whatever the title is, like how to prepare for auditions in a month. And then if it says and other drumming tips or and other teaching tips, that means there are more topics in there that might be of more interest if you're not interested in the title. Now, any of these members first videos, there's like 600 plus of them on my channel. They're all scheduled to release for free. So like this one comes out a week from today. So stay tuned for that, as well as the, 600 other that are coming out. Now, because I'm not good at limb independence yet, I need Shia LaBeouf here to help motivate me. So, Shia, we're going to get all the motivation from you. I haven't drummed in a week. Caught a cold or something. So, I need all the motivation I can get this morning. Help me out, please. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success, while you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? What's he grabbing? Do it. I don't know. He grabbed it again. Do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. He spits right there. I'm not ready to commit to that. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, wow, Shia LaBeouf. Everybody is so motivated. Thank you so much for stopping in, Shia. I hope you have a good rest of your day. All right. Now, on my YouTube channel and on my website, which is linked here, there's over 2,000 free play-alongs in here and over 15 hours of drumming tips. So, for example, under the chop section, there's currently 80 chop exercises. Stay tuned for some more. I got a few shopping sprees that are in draft format, so there's like 29 of them currently, and there's about to be over 30 of them. There's over 1,000 grid variations to work on different rudiments in triplet and 16th note format, so whichever version you want, work on it with rudiment on 1, start with that, and then you can get into the wackier stuff. This is where I'm practicing today. I'm working on the limb independence stuff. Every single one of these playlists links to this video, how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. It's the second video in every single one of these playlists, so check it out if you're like, how do I get better at limb independence? But I'll kind of demonstrate it while I'm practicing today. There's almost 500 marching bass exercises. I'd highly recommend focusing on the timing exercises, playing, marking time. And then once you get those down, focus on the splits, timing, and the basics. There's some drumline cadences. I just added these a couple days ago. So there's over 200 sight reading exercises. They're scheduled to release like a year from now or something like that. So if you're not a member, you currently don't have access, but I promise all 210 of these are coming out for free. So stay tuned for that. There's almost 400 technique exercises in here. Just like pick a playlist that looks interesting, like endurance and speed, or stick control, or I don't know, 3 and 4 strokes, whatever you want. There's a bunch to keep you going. And then again, there's over 15 hours of drumming tips. These are the scripted lessons, and then the drumming tips right here. This is where I'm like answering questions in these live streams. Think of it like office hours. Now, I went through a book. The book is called 50 Ways to Syncopation. It's by Don Moyle. Inside of here are 50 ways to actually work on limb independence. So highly recommend this book. It's fantastic. The way that I worked on it was largely based off of Gary Chester's idea of limb interdependence, which he talks about in New Breed 1 and 2. Check those out as well if you're interested in them. Now, what I've done is I've taken Dom's book and I've put it inside of this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet keeps track of like how am I doing across all the different times I played this. So for example, pattern number 2 is your basic ding, 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 and as I scroll through here, you can see the BPM, the quality of the playing, how I felt while doing it, etc. You can tell that I'm a bit OCD with am I practicing? So this particular pattern, number 2, ding, 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 and you play short notes on the snare drum, so anything longer than that is on the bass drum. Etc. Okay? So I've graduated from that pattern and all these other patterns that say technically proficient or musical inside of this column. Good morning, Brian. How you doing? So I've actually worked through all of Dom's book. I've got 2 patterns that are left. These are 2 patterns that I made up. So here you go. This particular pattern that I'm going to work on. Last time I did it at 110 and it's technically proficient. Okay. So the pattern is rough. Let's break it down a bit. So instead of ding, 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 like a swung pattern with a swung pattern, you'll see why I said that. What I'm doing instead is 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... This is if it was a 16th note pattern. This is if it was 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and if it was an 8th note pattern. But instead of playing it as either of those duple feels, I'm going to play it as a triple feel. So what do I mean by that? So, sorry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the hi-hat is going to be on 2 and 4. Da 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 da. While I read through snare drum parts as short, so 8th notes. Anything longer than an 8th note, I'm going to put on the bass drum. So that's what we're going to play. And we're going to try it at 110. And we're going to do this as a warm-up. And then I'll stretch and massage. And then I'm going to try an even harder pattern, which is also a 3/4 feel. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna get wacky. All right, so I'm playing a swung pattern rather. Technically with like what I'm doing with the snare drum and the bass drum. Even though my right hand's playing a straight pattern, it's swung. And I'm doing it at 110. So I'm gonna go inside of the swung row, and I'm gonna go to this set of playlists. And last time I think I played through those. So I'm just gonna pick a different one. Ooh wee. Yeah. How about we make it so we can actually see the resolution better? Thank you. All of these, like thousands of play-alongs on my YouTube channel, all you have to do is just go into the timestamps and you can click and go to whatever BPM you want. Let's go to maximum volume. Let's do this. All right, wish me luck. 1, 2, ready, and... One, two, oh, 1, 2, here we go. There's a specific reason why drum corps music is so complicated, even though they are in the back, because you don't really hear those parts in the recordings. Let me think about it. So, the brass over the years have gotten louder. I'd say it largely was because of like Sam Palafian and Patrick Sheridan doing like the breathing gym rather, with the brass lines, starting with Phantom Regiment. Read that wrong. So part of it is just the placement of the drums on the field, and they might not necessarily know that when they're writing it. They can always like change it to make it so that it's like an easier part if you can't really hear it that good. But also part of it is just the social media aspect of it. I'll explain it more in a minute. So social media acts like as a recruiting. So if you have a more interesting, more entertaining, more fun book to play, that'll recruit more people for the following year. And while that might not necessarily be on the minds of the composers while they're writing it, it factors into it. But there's also, I just wanted to like make the members happy. Like, so you want to have like a book that is at the level of the the line that'll make them interested, make them enjoy practicing it, enjoy playing it, etc. And so if you have a very capable, very talented line, you wouldn't want to just play like 8th notes, 16th notes, and whatnot, just to make it super clean. But the keeping the drum line entertained, etc., is part of it. Part of it is the social media side of things, although that I would say is less than the keeping the members of the line happy. There's also like you need to be playing so that the winds and brass has a reference point. I was thinking of marching band. From the back of the field, even if like you can't necessarily hear all the parts from up top, being able to like hear a driving rhythm, a driving pulse will impact what the rest of the ensemble is doing, the winds and the brass, the front ensemble, etc. Like that's another factor for it. There used to be judges on the field. There used to be judges that would like run up to like the snare line for the snare break and listen to it. There, depending on the situation, like there are judges who will only be up top and hear what the battery sounds like with the marching band or the drum corps or whatever, And then there are some judges that'll like stand near the front ensemble, so they have a better vantage point than what you can hear in those recordings. So they might be able to actually like hear like the snare line, tenor line, bass line, etc., better than you can hear in like the large overhead like condenser mics or whatever that are like up at the box picking up the recording. So like that can factor into it. It just might be like a bad mic placement basically, so you can't hear the drums as well as you can. But again, going back to the initial thing that I said, like the winds and brass in general over the years have gotten significantly louder. I think it was the mid or early 2000s. Trying to remember exactly. I think it was like around 2003 maybe. Sam Palafian, Patrick Sheridan, both like low brass tuba players, and like Pat Sheridan was considered to be one of the best in the world. He could play like Flight of the Bumblebee on one breath with the tuba, and then he could play a bass line through the tuba while singing the guitar part for Metallica simultaneously. So like two parts at the same time through one instrument. Phenomenal guy. And he and Sam Palafian wrote a book called The Breathing Gym, and then started doing workshops and stuff all around the country, and they started working, I'm pretty sure, with Phantom Regiment first, and then like their brass line all of a sudden had significantly more sound than previous years. So then other drum corps were like, whoa, what's going on? So then they started working with other groups like the Academy, and I forget where else they worked with. But yeah, so a bunch of like marching bands and drum corps just started incorporating those exercises to make it so they had more volume. And that made it so that it was harder to hear the drums unless you had a super big line. And so it comes down to like the drill placement. So the drill writer kind of needs to like be in coordination with like the people who are writing the book for the battery, to be able to figure out like, well, where can we put the like tenor lines so that way you can like hear them really well on this phrase, but then they're not as important as like, I don't know, the saxophones on this other phrase or whatever the instrumentation is. And yeah, so there's a lot of different factors, but there comes a point where the stuff that is being like buried by like, let's say you have like a wall of brass in front of you and you have like drums behind, like you're not going to hear every one of those interior notes. So towards the end of like the drum corps season, there will be a significant amount of changes that will be made that'll just like cut anything that's dirty, just to like try and trim the fat basically, to make it so that oops, I forgot the finger stretch. Make it so that like they can bump their scores up higher. But yeah, there's so many factors, which is why I'm like trying to approach it from different angles and whatnot. The reason why I know about like the breathing gym stuff is because Sam Palafian was at ASU. He died of, I believe, cancer years ago, but he was at ASU, which is where I went. And Pat Sheridan happened to be like work with some of the groups that I was involved with. Like I was teaching a band camp at a group, and he was like working with the winds and brass while I was working with the drums. So I know some of the back end behind that. But yeah, are they putting in extra effort? Yeah, I mean, definitely. But also, like, again, you want to try and like match the book to the ensemble that you're playing, or the ensemble that you're working with. So like, you don't want to have an easy book for a very talented drum line, and vice versa. You don't want to have a very difficult book for a beginner drum line. And all the lot clips and whatnot that are shared, like, again, that's a form of recruitment. So like, if drum corps A plays clean but has a boring book, but drum corps B plays a little bit dirtier but has a really fun, interesting book, like that's more likely to get shared, and more likely that people are going to like create like play-alongs, or create like learn the music stuff, or they like have the scrolling, here's me playing along to this particular snare break. All that is a form of like earned media, earned advertisements, where it's just people that are basically doing the work for you, promoting your group. And so that can factor into it. Although it might be a very small like consideration for the composers, it's still the reality of it. Like, the stuff that gets shared on social media is the interesting stuff, or sometimes the not good stuff, as we saw this summer, where it was like early June and people were just dogging on some of the groups needlessly. It's like, yeah, it's early June, and also what they're playing is very hard. You try and clean that. One of the funny things that I see is like sometimes some of the drumline instructors will respond to it and be like, "You want to tech the line?" Whenever like something on social media is like, "Oh, you should play that cleaner." You want to tech the line? Come try it. You'll see what's up. All right. Speaking of cleanliness, we're now gonna play something that I cannot play clean. I don't even know if I can play it. Since it's been a week since I've hit the drums. So the pattern that I just posted on here needs a lot of work. That's the average right here. But I haven't gotten it above that yet. I'm not even out of the into the charts like I was just doing with that other one. So the pattern that I'm doing, this one, it's difficult. So if you're on the vertical, it's this thing. If you're on the horizontal, it's this pattern that's like written right here. So the last one was do. Okay, so that was what it was. Now the one that I'm doing is a Soca pattern. So normally you play it as a 16th note, so 16th note phrase. Etc. Okay, so so instead of thinking of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, what I'm gonna do instead is play it as buckets as triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. Okay, so the way I'm gonna have to practice this is with. Let me just show you on the home tab. So if you go here, boop, 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 boop. If we scroll down a little bit, so for whatever reason, like YouTube like updated where it's like not showing all these playlists and like won't let you scroll through it. So you have to like actually click view all or click like the header for it for these, but to see all the different playlists that are in here. So that's new. I don't know why YouTube did that. Maybe it's like a bug or something, just for me. But so when you click on here on the limit independent stuff, it shows you all these different charts. But the one that I'm going to be working on is starting with the 8th note timing exercises. And I'm going to scroll down here. These are the Swung versions. So the pattern that I'm playing on the right, or the... Yikes, man, I'm tired. Recovering from a cold. So the pattern I'm playing on the hi-hat, there we go, look at you. Yeah, high five me. That pattern is a straight pattern. Triplet, 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 triplet. Cool. While I'm reading a swung pattern on the snare drum. So the way I'm going to do this is go into these like swung permutations, and I'm going to do this at 100. So I'm going to go inside of here. And I'm going to try and just read this all on the snare drum. I'm not even going to worry about the bass drum quite yet. 100 beats a minute. While I play the pattern on the hi-hat. I almost said the right again. Still recovering, apparently. 2, ready, and... Missed the hi-hat. Two pattern. threes. Sounds cool. I agree, Roy. Not to like, yay me. But yeah, it's a cool pattern when I play it right. The swung over that like straight feel is it melts my brain though. But when it's played correctly, it's pretty groovy. All right, cool. So that was the variation 5 for the permutations. And that's just for the hands. Again, we got to add in the foot, but because it's been like a week since I played it, let's go slow. I'm gonna play through these, and I'm just gonna do just a snare drum, and then I'll eventually come back to this and do it with the bass incorporated as well. So playing the bass on anything longer than an eighth note. That's the full version, but we're not there yet. I want to already and I swear I know what I'm doing. I keep hitting my sticks and it just keeps like launching my stick or just like messing up the rhythm. Okay, let's try this again. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, a wish me luck. Okay, that was better. Still not great, but you know, this is a practice stream. This is not a show-off stream. Alright, so let's go to variation 2. And then I'm going to sit with this one until I can play through it. And then we'll go to 3, and then 4, and then we'll incorporate the bass drum. Okay, so 100. If the BPM ends with a 0 or a 5, it gives you a few seconds to get set up. Otherwise, it just immediately taps off when you click on the BPM. Pro tip. Ready, and... Oops. Alright, let's try it again. Da 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 1, 2. Here we go. No, I keep missing that spot up. Again. Why is this one messing with my brain? Let me actually turn on that. Do. 100, please. 100, please. 7 beats a minute. Here we go. Yeah, like I want to switch over to the one that I was just playing, that I warmed up with. Weird. Brain, why are you doing that? Yeah, why do I keep switching it? Let's go one note at a time. How about, let's not do that. I'm not sword fighting. My hands disagree. And then I screwed up. Huh. Brain, why are you doing that? It's misfiring. Pointer error. Computer science joke, sorry. Yeah, just keep switching. Da 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 da. Why is that screwing up the right hand? I like the stuff like this. Like actually, really fascinates me when it's just like my brain just like gets a hiccup, and then just like trying to unpack. Well, like why is that? And then working through it and like feeling that growth. I'm like addicted to that sensation of that evolution, that growth. It's fun. If I can get at least one of these a day, where I like am completely hung up on something, like can't figure out like what's going on, how do I do this, and then I'm able to make progress on it, I feel like it's a good day. Okay, sorry, still got that sinus drainage. I want to try again. Thank you for the like. See what I mean? And then all of a sudden it works. Thank you for the reacts. Okay, so let's turn off my metronome in there. And let's do this again. So I'm going to try reading through this, and we'll see if those two measures sound better, or if my brain's going to be like, no, joke's on you. You don't know how to play it. Okay. 3/4 Soca while playing some Swung stuff. Yikes. Wish me luck. 1, 2, ready, and... keep sword fighting. Like, basically all those airs was because I was playing and hit my sticks. All right, cool. So that was a variation 2. Now let's just go on to the next one. Again, I'm not trying to like perfect these. I'm trying to train my brain to be able to like read through this while getting that ostinato down in the hi-hat. Once I get through this one and then the fourth one, and then I'm going to add in the bass drum on the quarter notes. 100. Thank you for the reacts. Here we go. 2, 1, 2, ready, und. That was weird. Okay. Alright, we gotta do that again. It was flawless. That's exactly how it was written. 1, 2, thank you for the like. Thank you for the reacts. Nope. Good morning, Ben. Thank you for the well wishes. Much love from Mexico City. Well, much love back to you from Phoenix. Okay. Not flawless, but we're at least able to play through it. We hit stuff. Yay. Let's just go to the next one, and then we'll take it to the next level of incorporating the bass drum. Always practicing? Yeah. Always trying to improve. Whether you know it or not. Even when I'm doing the gaming stuff, I have like a goal for what I'm trying to improve to get better as like streaming. Like when I do Silksong here in like 40 minutes or so. I'll set a goal for that too. 2, 1, 2. Let's see how this goes. Always more to work on. So some reading airs and some hitting the stick airs, but otherwise better than I thought. Let's do it again. No. No. Let's do that again. 1, 2, here we go. No! This is weird. No! Okay, so this note lands in between the triplet, so in between there. Then this one lands on the downbeat, and then this one lands on the second note of the triplet, and then this one lands on the second note as well of the triplet. No, wait. Yeah, so the second note and then the second note. It's so weird. It's messing with my brain. Let's try it again. Part of that was to explain it, but also part of it was just, for me to work it out in my head. We're playing easy stuff. If your first time is ever playing, you should be able to do 3/4 with ease better than I can, right? That's a joke. No. There we go. No. I lost the hi-hat pattern. I gotta do it again. Welcome to practicing, folks. There's a reason why the first word of the stream is practicing. 1, 2, here we go. This is the grind. Learn to love it. Hello, what sticks am I using? Jack Dijonets by Vic Firth. Let's try that again. I keep messing that one up. screwed up. So I hit my stick again, and it messed up the hi-hat. And then it was all over from there. Unsubscribe. Jared can't play it. Okay, we can do it. We never back down, we never give up. Let's channel, what's his face? Shia LaBeouf. Do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Let's try this again. 100. You know we never back down, never what? Man, these sticks are almost gone. They're vampire steaks right now. I appreciate it. No, I gotta do that again. I screwed it up again. You bought Big Firth nylon tip for 20 bucks? Yeah, I don't like the nylon tips though, because the beads break off. So rather than like whittling it down like this is... I'll show you an older one. So here's a fresh pair. And then here's a really old stick where you could stab a vampire with it. They're very different. But the nylon tips... What ends up happening with them is this whole thing just snaps off. Also, I don't like the rebound on them. They are way too bouncy. And combine that with these mesh heads, these silent heads, the silent strokes and whatnot, like it's not good. It's just the problem of having these low volume cymbals that have all these holes drilled into them. They just eat through the bead of it, but I'd rather eat through the bead of a wood stick than play with a plastic one. But that's just my preference. To each their own. Some people prefer nylon. I prefer the wood tip, mainly because of my background in marching and whatnot. Here we go. Here's a play-by-play of what happened with that. So I was doing this, and I was hitting my stick, and I was like, oh, I gotta move my hand over a little bit, so that way I could, like, prevent that. And I moved it a little over too much, and completely missed the hi-hat. And then we tested out gravity, and found out that it, in fact, does still work. Fear not, my friends. We are not going to float off into outer space. Let's do this again. Brain, you can do it. And my brain is like, I don't know about that. 1, 2, here we go. We did it. Force that brain into the body motion. Oh, well, we're trying. I did it. Okay. Let's do the ones with the foot on the variation 5. So, in this particular pattern, when you're playing it, all the short notes are on the snare. So all the swung. And then anything longer than that is on the bass drum. So the bass drum. So let's try this. with just the foot while playing, you know, the hi-hat pattern, the soca. 2, 1, 2, already, So that's in between, and I messed up. Cool. Okay, so that's basically anything that your foot would do. Everything else is going to be on the snare drum, on the hands. So, and by anything, I mean like any placement across the subdivision of the beat, of the measure, will be one of those patterns right there. Okay, so sometimes you might have a few of them in a row, but it's always going to be a quarter note or longer. Okay, so it's been an hour, but I kind of want to try it. So let's go back to variation 1. And again, this is, if you're like, where are you finding these exercises? So this is on the home tab. Scroll down to the limb independence section and then click on here. And I'm working through this 8th note timing exercises. The first chunk of these is straight patterns, so straight 8th notes. And then everything after that is the swung variations. I'm going to swung, 8th note, permutation, variation 1, right there. And we'll try it at 100. So now I'm going to play 8th notes on the snare drum and quarter notes on the bass drum. Or at least attempt to. Can I do it? I'll let you know in a couple of minutes. 2, 1, 2, ready, and hello! No! Okay, we gotta do that again. Better than I thought it'd go, to be honest with you. Alright, let's break this down. I turned the metronome on in my earbuds as opposed to using the play along. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep looping each measure. Okay, this is the first measure. Second measure. Okay, next measure. And Okay, so this one, it's really weird feeling. So it lines up in between the notes. Okay, so you have boom chick. The hi-hat is an eighth note immediately after this. Triplet immediately after it, I guess I should say. And then for this one, it like flips it. So you have the hi-hat hit first, so triplet right here into the pickup into 4. So it feels weird. Doo-doo. It's just a weird feeling where you're going back and forth between the feet like that. Like, the way it sounds is like all you're doing is hitting bass drum on like 2 and 4. Ooh, super difficult. But the way that it like feels like with that 3/4 and the hi-hat, it's just, it's funky. It's cool though. I like it. It's a good challenge. Next one. No, it's supposed to be on the second note, not on the release. Sorry. I failed you. Ooh. That was interesting. So we have triplet, 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 triplet. Whoa. Alright, next measure of the 2s. So this one, 2, ready, and... No, that's not right. Okay. Ready, and... There we go. Man, that's funky. Let me do it again. 2, ready, again. Oh, that's funky. So this one is in between the triplets on the hi-hat. Then on the second note of the triplet, so we have triplet, triplet, and then this one, second note of the triplet, triplet, and then in between the triplet. So it's kind of like a palindrome where it's in between, second note, in between. So it's like a mirror image of it. Funky. Woo-wee! Yeah, so the hi-hat is Soca. So the Soca pattern, normally you play it like that as 16th notes, but we're doing it as a triplet. So we're combining some Latin with some jazz for a 3/4. It's fun. Okay, so this one, add in the bass drum again. So measure 4 of the 2s. No. Flawless. 1, 2, ready, and buckets, buckets, buckets. Oof. Whew. Let's try that again. That's difficult. So this one, the way it lines up with those triplets, downbeat, triplet. So on the second note and the release with the shup, and then this is in between the last triplet. So you have triplet, triplet, triplet. Okay, let's try the threes now. Oh, that's so, like, mind-melting. Whew. Okay, the 3/4 is very pronounced in here while playing this. Let's try that one again, and then I'll go to the next pattern. That doesn't have the bass drum part. 2, ready, and... Went to measure 3 and completely messed up. Ready, and bucket. That one feels good when I get it. There's a big win there. If I get it. Alright, last measure of the threes, and we'll go into the fourth. Ready, and... Okay, cool. Alright, let's try it with the actual play along. Yay! Will I play it all the way through and make it sound good? Probably not. Will I at least get better in the process? Definitely. That's the plan. Okay, here we go. 2, 1, 2, ready, and... Hitting my sticks. Alright, let's try it again. It was better than I thought it was gonna go. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. My brain is melting. I'm going to admit defeat on this one for the moment. Okay, so still needs a lot of work on here. This spreadsheet, by the way, is keeping track of like all these different patterns. So when I'm practicing, you know, in these practice streams, I'm focusing on the ones that are not good yet. So 52 and 53 are the ones that I worked on today. And 53 obviously still needs a ton of work. But hey, you know what? This is where all of these started with. So there's a bunch of them above here. If you're like, well, where did you get all these different limb independence patterns? They're actually from this book by Dom Moyle, 50 Ways of Syncopation. It's a good book. Highly recommend it. Dom is a super cool guy, too. Phenomenal drummer. Way better than me. If you want like a more simplistic like thing to practice, start with like this one. I'll just do a, whoa. Control C, not letter C. Let's do a quick demonstration of what this is like. So let me paste it in there so you can actually see it. So the pattern I'm going to play is just a swung cymbal, hi-hat on 2 and 4. And you're playing short notes on the snare, long notes on the bass drum, like I was just doing, except we're going to do it with some charts as opposed to these permutations. The permutations are basically training my brain to be able to do the thing that I want to do, which is read charts. So if I go to the limb independence section, go to some swung charts, I'm going to do this, I don't know, a nice... Wow, there's a me yelling at me. A nice comfortable 180. So I just picked a random set of charts. Inside of the timestamps, I'm going to say, hey, I want to play this on 180, and then it'll count off, and then I just play eighth notes on the snare drum, everything else on the bass drum. Well, ding, ding, ding. 1, 2, ready, and ding, 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 ding. Okay? A 1, a 2, here we go. Why can't I play eighth notes on the snare drum? Weird. My brain is like, no, we're gonna leave off some of those. Add in different accents, different timbres, different textures, different dynamics. Make it more interesting. Well, once you get the coordination down, that is. Read that wrong. This is real difficult stuff. Glim, good morning. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, Oh no, I read that wrong. Oh, I totally read that wrong. No! I messed up. I failed you. It's a roguelike. I gotta start all the way over at 1 beat a minute. Try it again. 1, 2, ready, totally read that wrong. Cool. Glim, since you remind me. I've got the Boston Variations and the Shopping Sprees uploaded. They're not in the playlist yet. Like, I've uploaded them in YouTube. Now I have to do all the add descriptions and whatnot, and thumbnails. So stay tuned for that. I should have them up later this afternoon, in a few hours. Okay, so if you want to be able to learn how to do like the limb independence and play it better than what I was doing, if you go on my home tab of YouTube, we've got all the chop stuff, the grid stuff, but right here, these limb independence playlists, every single one of them, when you click on here, and it shows you all of them, the second video actually shows you step-by-step how to do it. So when I was doing that 3/4 Soca, this video, I was taking some steps back. So I'm not able to read the charts yet, but, you know, we're working on it. So when working through those different permutation patterns that are in the limb independent stuff, start with step 1, which is just getting ostinato down, and then step 2 is like going through these permutations, or maybe some triplets or 16th note ones, depending on what kind of limb independence pattern you're working on, and then eventually you can get into the charts. Oh, now it's got the arrow, like these. Don't rush right into the charts right away. It's going to be overwhelming if you're like trying to figure it out. Why is YouTube weird? Only shows 4 and then it shows 6. What? Anyways, it's a bug. Confirmed. But if you want to find any technique exercises, chop exercises, as well as like over 15 hours of tips, just go to the home tab there. My brain is melted after trying to play those 3/4 patterns, so I'm going to call it here. And in probably about 15 or so minutes, maybe 20, after I get set up, I'm going to do Hollow Knight Silk Song, so we'll continue that. And I've got a hard cutoff today, so only got about 2 hours on that. But I appreciate everybody stopping in. But if you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat on future streams or any of the videos. I do respond to all of them, so feel free to ask questions, which is where I get all these drumming tips from, is people asking questions across the different streams. So lots of different topics that we talked about, over 15 hours and over 100 videos on there. You have a question about more beef? I still got confused with the backstick measure. Yeah, let me pull it up real quick on my other monitor. Yeah, it's a weird, again, the engraving on it is funky, but let me show you what it looks like. But let me get the music. I had it memorized way back in the day, but now I don't. Okay, so this is the first measure of, what is that, line 3? So we have cha-da, cha-da, da, cha-da, 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 da. So we have basically cha-da, cha-da, da, cha-da, 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 da, with flams. So the way you're doing it is cha-da, back sticking, back, normal, back. So bugga, bugga, da, dugga, 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 da, doing that. Beat, beat it, back, open, or the regular playing zone, and then back to the backsticking. So any of those circles is the backstick. Just think of it as like flams. Like that. You're very welcome. Anyways, I'm going to call it here. If you enjoy these resources, again, just share it with somebody else. If you don't enjoy these resources, share it with an enemy. And they'll be like, no, curse you. And then you can go, mwah, ha, 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 evil laugh. Anyways, I'm out. Goodbye.